Why, hello, everybody. This is Eric Vierthaler of Vierthaler Studios back again for the next episode of Sit Down by the Fire. I'm here with my next special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Jack Hoy, and I'm an actor.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, anytime. But yeah, and I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Cheers.
Yeah, anytime. So, how about that you tell my audience about this new movie that you're in called Viral Haunt?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I'm the lead in a movie called Viral Haunt. It is about a group of YouTubers who are really famous, but they keep getting branded as fakes in their videos because they go to these haunted places and document the footage. So they keep getting branded as fakes, and they decide, you know what, we're going to go to a really haunted place to try and dispel the rumors. And my character, Jake, is the leader of the group. And a very toxic, not very nice person, and stuff goes down.
Oh gosh, yeah. But yeah, and I mean, just from what I've heard about the concept, it sounds like a very, very cool concept.
Oh yeah, it's really interesting. I think it's so relevant in today's society, like with the
Definitely.
social media, and it's nice because it's kind of rooted in like it's got a bit of a Blair Witchy feel, I think, in terms of the concept. But it is, I think the thing that really blows my mind, at least when I heard about the movie before I even got the role, is it's really unique in the space. Like there's nothing on the marketplace at the moment like this movie. So can't wait to see it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, certainly, yeah. And I mean, just the whole concept of it, like being about the dark side of social media. It's a very, very, very relevant topic, and I mean, considering that social media like has just become so prevalent
Yeah,
nowadays. So yeah.
that's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah, and I mean, people often talk about the good sides of social media, which, and I mean, there certainly are, but there also is a dark side to it as well.
Yeah, yeah, and Viral Horn is going to explore that dark side. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, with the title like Viral Haunt, I totally thought that they're going to explore the positive side of it. But yeah, and so one of the really scary things about it is that nowadays, like, everybody has cameras on their phones now, and so pretty much anything that you do, you know uh make it go viral even against your own will.
Yeah, once it's out in the public domain, it is exactly that. It's out. Yeah.
It is, yeah. And I mean, there have been a lot of videos, like, such as Two Girls in One Cup, that went viral. And I mean, there also has been some debate, like, if that was just faked or not. I mean, it's possible. I don't really know. But I mean, regardless, though, I mean, after a video like that, I mean, kiss your reputation goodbye.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like videos can go viral for all different like. It's interesting how there's not a formula for something to go viral. Like it can be like any genre, anything, and it can.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, it is, yeah. And that's also one of the really scary things, like, about what can go viral, is that you really truly just don't know what it is that could go viral.
Yeah, yeah. Well put.
Oh yeah, so certainly. And so how did you get involved? So how did you get involved with this project?
Oh man, it's a cool story actually. So I heard about the movie and I thought, my God, like I would kill to watch this, let alone be in it.
Uh-huh.
Like you said, the concept is just so strong. My best friend, who I went to drama school with for 3 years, you might know him. Is it Louis Santa? Do you know
Yes,
Louis?
yes.
Yes, he's amazing, top
Oh
guy.
yeah.
So he's Tash's boyfriend. Tash reached out to me and mentioned that there's potentially a part which might suit me. So that's how I got the audition. And when I was reading the audition pack, I was like, oh man, this role fits like a glove. Like it fits so well. I was like, you audition a lot, but there's certain roles that come along, like, and they're quite rare, where it's like, this is good. This is really good for me. So I auditioned, and obviously they like casted it like worldwide. They wanted to get as much like talent as possible to make the right cast. And it was about a week-long wait. And then after a week, I was just really fortunate. Yeah, I got a message saying we'd like you to be a part of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was my reaction, actually.
Awesome. Yeah. And yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned Lewis because I actually also had him on the same podcast. So
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, I'll have to check out that because like great guy, but great actor as well. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, his role like in Winnie the Pooh, honestly, a lot of people, even including myself, actually will say that he was the one who stole the whole entire show.
That's amazing. That's amazing. No, he deserves all the credit he gets. He's super talented, but he's also obviously I've trained with him for 3 years. He's put in all the hard work as well. So
yeah, and I mean, especially knowing that was his first role.
Yeah, it's incredible. He is really good. I mean, I remember in third year of drama school, in the very last show where all like the agents come along, we did a scene from Peaky Blinders. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't believe I have, no.
Oh, it was great. It was like an old school brawl, and we rolled our sleeves up, and it was a firefight, and it was good. He's a very talented boy. Very talented boy.
Nice, awesome, yeah, and but yeah, I mean, little did I know like that someday Natasha like and Lewis end up like would be in a couple.
Yeah, they're such a good fit, aren't they? It's great.
Yeah, and I mean, who would ever think like that Winnie the Pooh being a bloodthirsty killer actually would make for romance? That is just unconventional. But yeah, and so how was the filming experience like for Viral Haunt?
Oh, great question. I mean, it was amazing. Tash and Steve, they ran the show like brilliantly. Like honestly, I can't say enough good stuff about them. You wouldn't think that it was like their first feature horror that they've like produced. Like they really looked like they just had a really good grip of the whole situation. And I think what they did amazing is that they got the right people in the right room. And that's not just crew, but that's not just cast, but it's crew as well. So yeah, they did amazing. And my experience personally was just it was wonderful. It's such fun.
Yeah, and I mean, like just meeting the right people at the right time. I mean, it can definitely change a lot.
Yeah, honestly, you're so right. And it's like, yeah, the casting, I often feel like it's an overlooked part of like a movie, but yeah, they absolutely nailed it.
Oh yeah, I can imagine, and yeah, and I mean, I can also probably imagine like that it was probably filmed in like 10 or so days.
Yeah, it was intense. We were hitting 12-hour days, but everyone kind of rallied together, and really special experience. It was good. We kind of all lived and breathed it. It was nice. There wasn't much like downtime, so you were constantly like thinking about it. And yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, if you if you felt like that the 10 to 12-hour days were long, I've actually heard of stories where people would film for 18 hours.
Yeah, that's a bit rough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like if I'm going to film for 18 hours, you better give me a pretty good paycheck for it. Yeah, and I mean, that's 18 hours of my life that I am never going to get back. And with all that hard work that I put in it, it would be fair if I got compensated for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was really nice in the project because you feel like you give a part of yourself to the role. And yeah, it's nice when it's that intense and it's that duration. It really feels like you can give part of yourself and make a really unique character.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And so how would you say that how would you say that the character that you played in Viral Haunt compared to all of the rest of the characters that you have played?
Oh, good question. I think this character, just the sheer depth that they have is really interesting. In the sense that, so he's a bad guy, right? Jake is a bad guy. There's no getting around it. but finding the emotional truth to that, because I think very rarely people are bad for just being bad.
Hmm.
There's a quote which I absolutely love, which is that the villain is the hero of the other side. So they think that they're
Oh,
doing right. And that kind of stuck with me during the process, finding justifications for why is he acting like he's acting. Because he prioritizes fame and fortune and has so much pride and ego, that it's only because he values those so highly that he's willing to sacrifice morals and virtues in order to achieve them. So I think that was a really interesting dynamic in the character. And yeah, because on the face of it, it looks like he has no redeeming qualities, but it's finding, well, what's the why behind why he's acting how he's acting.
hmm. Yeah, and I mean, usually people like that are like that. Simply, it's because that they had a bad past.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think people set out to be bad or evil. It's great point.
Yeah, and I mean, it could have been because that they came from a bad family. It could have been because they got bullied at school. It,
Mhm.
it could have been for a lot of reasons. I mean, of course, it doesn't mean that it's okay, but it certainly does explain why, though.
Yeah, and that why is like where you get the emotional truth out of it. So yeah, absolutely.
Certainly, yeah. And so, would you say that this character like was a lot more layered, like than the rest of the characters that you have played, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I think the similarities is that there's an emotional turmoil. Like I tend to play characters which are like they have some sort of conflict inside them. Um, but I'd say the difference here is probably the lengths that he's willing to go to achieve what he wants. I'd say that's like the primary difference, is that he's willing to be a horrible person to get what he wants, and he has to deal with the consequences, which I can't wait for you guys to check out because stuff goes down in this
Oh,
movie. It's amazing.
I can imagine, and 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 that's one of the things that I can feel like that makes your character relatable is that oftentimes we can be well intended, but we often really don't consider the consequences of our choices.
Yeah, and how that affects others, and good point.
Exactly, and I mean, not only how it can affect others, but how it can affect you as well.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, very, very, very good point. Because we can make actions which we think, oh, this is indifferent to me. This isn't going to touch me, but it does. It does add up. Whether it's not immediate, whether it's later down the line, I feel like all your actions, they have consequences, like you said.
It is, yeah. And I mean, going to what you said, I mean, sometimes you may not realize the consequences until like 10 or so years afterwards.
Yes, that is so true. Because it's that old saying, isn't it? It's like long term pain for short term gain, or short term gain for long term.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, which do you take the immediate satisfaction and grab it, but in the long term that's going to damage you, or do you like grit your teeth and then in the long term you have success? I if I can remember this quote and not butcher it, it's the road to heaven feels a lot like hell, and the road to hell feels a lot like heaven. I think that epitomizes it quite well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I certainly haven't ever heard it phrased that way, but it does make a lot of sense. Yeah. And so, yeah. And I mean, there's also that saying that what goes around comes around, right?
Yeah, I mean that's an oldie but a goodie, and that's very true.
I can imagine. Yeah, and so yeah, so yeah, and so was it your first time was it your first time ever playing a bad guy?
Ooh. So traditionally, my typecast in theatre as well has been a character who has been tremendously hurt and then is on some sort of path for revenge and like vengeance.
Right.
Um, Whereas Jake, the character that I play in this movie, he's kind of sealed his own fate in a way.
Uh-huh.
He hasn't been hurt per se. He's kind of he's inflicting more of the pain. So I'd say he's like less relatable than my other characters that I've played. Because normally when I play a character, they go, "Oh goodness!" Like from an audience perspective, they're like, "I see why he's doing what he's doing." But for Jake, sometimes he's doing stuff which is so big and so intense. You're like, I feel like you, as an audience member, you'd probably meet it more head on, and you'd be like, "Why is this guy like such a insert word here?" kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and so you were saying about being typecast. How do you feel about being typecast as? a- How do you feel like about being typecast like as that kind of character?
Great question. I really like it. I really like it, and it's funny that you mentioned typecasts because Viral Horn effectively blends my typecasts really well because I often get cast as like a romantic lead, and Jake is very promiscuous in his actions in the movie, which you guys will see. Um,
Right.
and but he's also a bad guy, but he's also got like this vendetta against not being where he wants to be. So it's kind of taking all the typecast that I've had and kind of blending it into one character. I think that's why it fits so well.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, and reminds me of a quote that Boris Karloff once said. Boris Karloff once said that a typecast actor is a very lucky actor.
That is a great quote. And I feel like the industry is going to put you in some sort of box anyway. So you can reject
Exactly.
it and you can reject it and go against the grain. Uh, or you can go with it and you can just, bite the bullet and absolutely run with it. And that's what I like to do.
Yeah, and I mean ultimately any actor will want to get work, and ultimately when you're typecast, it means that you are, I mean, if you like it or not, you are getting work.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I love my typecast. So I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, and I mean that's even what I've experienced recently, like with being typecast in all of these horror films. So bring on the blood. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so excuse me. So how do you feel like that viral haunt like is going to resonate with audiences?
Oh, I mean, it's so relevant in today's day and age. Like we mentioned a little bit earlier, like the age of social media, getting subscribers, getting views, how it's addictive. You get these hits of dopamine. You're like, oh, I want more, I want more, I want more. So I think that's going to really resonate. And just as a format in general, like the digital age, like you couldn't have made this movie 50 years ago. Like it
Oh,
wouldn't have made
definitely not. No.
it wouldn't have made sense. So it's at the cutting edge of cinema. Um, and yeah, and then the acting, like there was so many amazing actors in the film. So I think when we all got together, it was just fireworks.
Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, when I checked it up on IMDb, Natasha not only directs the movie, but she also acts in it too.
Yeah, I mean, she is phenomenal. Like she plays an amazing character as Belle, and yeah, viewers are going to be very lucky to see it, and I can't wait. I think I'm the most excited.
Yeah, which I kind of feel like she named her character Belle on purpose because one time when I watched one of her interviews like on YouTube, she actually said like that she actually wants to play Belle like from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my goodness,
So,
great movie.
oh yeah, certainly. But I just can't help. I mean, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe, but something's telling me, okay, did you name your character after that? Is because you want to play Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and it's the closest that you can get or something?
I mean, I think she'd do an amazing job as Belle. I certainly wouldn't rule it out. I think she'd do a great job.
Oh yeah, certainly. And I mean, of course, it wouldn't be her first time like being in a children's property, you know, something
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that. So yeah. So yeah, and so would you possibly know when the movie is going to be coming out?
No, I can't say anything at the moment,
That's a
but
shame.
it's going to be amazing when it comes out. So yeah, it's definitely going to be worth checking out, guys.
Oh yeah, certainly. And but yeah, I am definitely going to be excited to watch it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, certainly. So if there was going to be a Viral Haunt 2, I mean, I do I do understand they can't talk about spoilers with the movie. I mean, of course, once the movie's out, then yes, you can. But as of now, it's not out, so you obviously can't talk about spoilers. But if you could see the movie getting a sequel,
Mhm.
what kind of themes do you think the sequel could be about?
It's exciting to think about, that's for sure. I think that the sequel, I mean, if the first movie would be fireworks, the sequel would be explosions. It would genuinely be huge. Because the thing about Viral Haunt is that it's got such a strong, not just concept, but the plot and the characters, and it's all so unbelievably grounded and well thought out. So if there was a sequel, I can only imagine it'd be the same but better. So yeah, I'm sure the audience could expect more supernatural, more high stakes, more plot twists, more fun.
Yeah, and I mean, considering that social media is just such a broad concept, you really can do a lot with a sequel. So
Yeah, and I mean, if anyone can do it, Tash and Steve can. So yeah, here's hoping. I would like to see a sequel.
yeah, and I mean, in this day and age, I mean, most of the biggest hits like from last year actually were sequels, like Inside Out 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Dune 2. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible.
yeah, yeah. It would be good. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the first one. It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, certainly. But yeah, as soon as it's out, I'll be sure to watch it, and then afterwards, I will be sure to give a movie review of it. So
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting.
heck yeah! And actually, now that I just thought about it, maybe I could get you and some of the rest of the people on, like for like an maybe I could like get you all on like for like a question like a live video like for like my chat. I like to ask you all of like these questions about it. So
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down for that. I think that sounds great. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
oh yeah, certainly. And so I am just yeah, it's just I'm just trying to avoid spoilers. And I mean, since that the movie's not out yet, so it's
I, I understand.
so yeah, and so it sounds like that you could maybe potentially could see Viral Haunt becoming like a horror series then.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely answer that. Yeah, I can see it going to orbit. I really can. Like, it is, my goodness, it's going to be good. I genuinely can't say enough good things about it. Um, it's got so many amazing themes, you know, supernatural, high stakes, in this beautiful blend. Uh, it really is going to be special. And like, no one can see where this is going. Like, the plot is amazingly written. Tash and Steve just did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, which I just feel like that would just make it just so much of a better experience. It's because nobody wants to watch a movie where like everything that's going to happen. I mean, when you don't expect it,
Mhm.
it makes the experience just so much better.
It does. Yeah, it absolutely does. And it makes it more like more similar to life as well, doesn't it? Because you
Oh,
don't know where it's going. I haven't got a script saying, "Oh, right, I'm going to get to 35 and then crash my car or something." So I mean,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
but yeah, so it's exciting and it really is. I think as well because this horror movie is set in present day and it's so like naturalistic and truthful. It's yeah, it's a roller coaster that we can all relate to.
Yeah, and I mean, I could definitely testify to having having unexpected twists because honestly, I never once ever would have thought that I ever would have my own podcast. So
Congratulations to you. It's great.
thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, life is definitely full of surprises.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got into acting late. I started acting at 18. So I never would have thought that I'd be here on the show with you. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Oh yeah, certainly. And so now that you mentioned that, What actually inspired you to pursue acting?
Great question. So I come from a sporting background. I played sport all my life: cricket, CrossFit, rugby, football, you name it. Athletics, a lot of athletics. So I was very much an athlete. And then I remember I was just kind of having this conversation with like my mum, and I was like, oh, I don't know, like it's just I want to express myself creatively in a way that sport won't allow. And she was like, what would you want to do? And I was like, acting sounds fun. And then to her credit and to all my family's credit, they were like, run with it. Like, just go for it. So I come from like a really rural area of the north of England called the Lake District. So the only acting course I could find was a musical theatre course, 2 years. And I was like, well, I've only sang in the shower. I can only two-step at a nightclub, and I've never acted in my life. But, why the hell not? So I did it. I got on this train, and it was a 2-hour train journey there, 2-hour train journey back. And I would travel on my day off as well, because the teacher, Michelle, who is amazing, by the way, she would dedicate a large portion of her lunch to teaching me and working on audition materials on my day off. So I did that. And then I thought, oh, you know what? If I'm going to apply for a school, I might as well go for a drama school. And if I'm going to apply to a drama school, I might as well apply to like the most prestigious and like the only course of its kind in the world. So I gave myself 10 years to get in. And, luck is when hard work meets opportunity. And I was, very lucky, very fortunate. And I got in first time.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, about the whole thing about starting at 18, I mean, hey, as long as you are still alive, you still have your chance.
Oh yeah, and I've had my chance, and I'm grabbing it with both hands. I totally relate to that.
Yes, do it. I mean, you only live once, and hey, I mean, life is way too short to not go do what you love.
I love that. I love that. It's such a powerful message.
Oh, it is. And yeah, and on top of that, you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well should go take a chance doing what you love.
That's so true. Yeah, you can get 40 years in and be like, oh God, I should have took that chance. I should have said that to someone or whatever. So yeah, I'm a big believer. Just like no time better than the present.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it goes back to what we were saying sooner, like how, regret definitely will eventually will catch up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of the worst feelings in the entire world. But hey, you may not be able to change the past, but what you can do is learn.
Yes. Oh yeah. I agree.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, heck, like even Tobin Bell, like who's best known for being Jigsaw in the Saw movies, he did not start acting until he was in his 40s.
That's incredible. I mean, people like him, people like Morgan Freeman, like it's sublime, isn't it? They're really motivational.
Oh, it is, yeah. I do apologize about that.
No.
But yeah, and that's proof that it's not too late. And then Tobin Bell, he didn't make it until he was in his 60s. In his 60s.
Yeah, and he is phenomenal, isn't he? He's aged like a fine wine, both his acting and everything. Like, wow.
Yeah, and I mean, like, as the role of Jigsaw, I mean, it's ironic, since that Viral Haunt's also a horror movie. But yeah, I mean, his role as Jigsaw was just perfect, especially that voice. I want to play a game. It just sends chills down your spine.
It does. It really does. And the first Saw movie is probably my favorite horror movie of all time. I really, I know it's big praise, but the plot twist, the fact it all just takes place in that room, it's like the concept has to be strong. Like there's no big explosions or anything like that. Like it really relies on the concept, and it kind of was a bit of a trailblazer, wasn't it? It started a lot of other stuff.
That it was, yeah. And, and that's one of the things like that's so great about the horror genre, especially within independent films, is that you don't need to hire like a super big name, like say Jim Carrey or Morgan Freeman. You can just rely on the concept, which it even sounds like what Viral Haunt is even doing, is that it's relying on its concept.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect blend because it has, like you said, this beautiful concept, but it has all the acting talent to kind of deliver that product. And I think that's what makes it special. And that goes back again to Tash and Steve finding the right people for the right job.
Oh yeah, definitely. And going back to Saw,
Oh yeah,
like I swear, like that twist ending when I first saw it,
man.
I did not see that coming. It's like, oh my god, he was alive the entire
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Because he injected himself with like a syringe, right, to lower his heart rate. Yeah, man, I need to rewatch that. That is unreal. And then the other two actors were really good as well, right? Like they really played the stakes. That's
Certainly,
good.
yeah. And I mean, it also just makes you wonder, what if that was you? Like imagine trying to cut through your leg with that saw, having to go through your bone and all the pain you would go through when it's cutting through your flesh. But when it's just that intense and that desperate of a moment, you would do anything just to save your family. Like, oh gosh.
Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I really do.
And I just can't help but laugh now. Is because instantly what came to my mind is when they made fun of that in Scary Movie 4.
Oh, I haven't got around to the fourth one. That would be good though.
Yeah, and so what was really funny, it actually was Dr. Phil, like who was cutting through his leg. But what's really funny, he actually cut off the wrong leg.
Oh no.
I'm like, oh gosh, that's so embarrassing. But yeah, and so yeah, and I mean that's one of the things about those scary movies is that now it kind of makes it harder for me to take seriously all of these horror films now.
Yeah, they're really nice. Yeah.
So I guess with that said, I did hear that they are doing a Scary Movie 6.
Wow.
Um if they did a parody like of your movie, how would you see them doing a parody of Viral Haunt?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think it would lie in the characters' motivations, and I think they would probably heighten stuff to a greater level, like they do in Scary Movie.
Oh yeah.
So almost if you had like a dial on the characters, and you said that like their baseline, their naturalistic level, what they are in normal Viral Haunt is like 50%. I think they would probably turn that to like 500, and just really have like insanity going on, and obviously the supernatural element as well. I think they would play and stretch and mold that, and yeah, I think there'd be a lot of good material to work with.
Oh yeah, certainly. And I guess maybe what could happen, I mean going back to viral videos, what if it
Mhm.
was like a really embarrassing video, like say of your character like who's singing in the shower or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. No, I mean it's a good. What would my character sing like? I think he'd probably like a bit of Elvis. I think he'd want to
Yeah.
set the stage. Yeah, be a bit of a showman. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that definitely would make sense. Oh yeah, definitely. And so besides Viral Hunt, do you have any more projects coming up?
Yes, I do. I have a theatre project next year. I can't say much about it at the moment. In fact, I don't think I can really say anything about it. But that's going to take up a little bit of my time. Yeah, very much, very much. I'll place the key down here. Bit like Saw, actually.
Yeah.
So that's going to take up a little bit of my time. But then I'm really excited. I'd love to get back on screen, whether it be like a TV series or movie. I love the horror genre. I think it's amazing. But I do want to enter other genres as well. Like I said, one of my typecasts is like a romantic lead, so I'd love to do a rom-com. But ultimately, I mean, I'm sure you'll agree, but the horror genre is like my favorite genre.
Oh, it
It's
is.
incredible. Like, man, you can't beat it. We're really fortunate to do what we do.
Yeah, like I honestly would say that doing the horror genre like is one of the most fun genres I have ever done. I mean, even though that it's mostly been horror movies,
Mhm.
I mean, I have done a few non-horror movies here and there, but honestly, it's just so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. And there's something about the horror community which is just unlike any other community of any other movie genre. Like horror fans, being a horror fan myself, we're just the best. like I just gotta say it, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and I mean, you just go. I mean, if you just go down like to a horror con, I mean, there
Yeah.
are all these enthusiastic fans like who would be so excited, like to get someone's autograph, and
It's really cool. I can't think of any other genre like it. I really can't. It's very special.
funny that we mentioned Tobin Bell
Oh, all right. Okay.
because I actually got him to sign this.
Wow, that is so cool.
It is, and and I just thought that him signing a saw blade like was just the perfect thing. So,
Yeah, that is so cool.
but yeah, I definitely will not forget that when I posted that on Facebook, my Facebook exploded. Yeah, like all these people are like, "No way, you make Jigsaw?"
Yeah, the horror community, man. It's great.
Oh, it is, yeah. And so, I guess out of curiosity, have you ever been to a horror con?
I haven't actually. No, I haven't. I've definitely seen a lot on social media, and I definitely see myself going in the near future. But no, I haven't. I'm really looking forward to that experience. Have you got a horror con that stands out for you as your favorite?
Oh man, there's so many good ones. Like there is one in Texas,
Ooh.
and Atlanta, Georgia, which actually is where I'm going to be. Actually, where I'm going to be moving to soon. Actually, does get a lot of horror cons.
Oh, congratulations! That sounds really exciting.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, I guess it just really depends on what con that you go to, or I mean, a lot of it with the big draw, it usually is like the guests that they have.
Yeah, yeah, that's very cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so so yeah, so now with that said, if you could meet any big name horror film person, who would you want to meet?
Ooh, wow. I mean, there's so many choices. Um, hmm, wow, it's tough, isn't it?
It is.
It's really tough. Honestly, man, I mean, seeing Jigsaw, that'd be pretty cool. Hearing the voice in person, like, gotta be honest, I think it would be hard to
Oh
beat.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I am not gonna lie. It was one heck of an experience. So
That's cool. No, I really like his work. So I think, yeah, I think I probably have to think harder on it, but that's what I'd go for now. But I'm maybe a little bit swayed by how cool that memorabilia is.
yeah, and I mean, especially considering that he signed the absolute perfect thing,
Yeah,
a
very
saw
much.
blade. So yeah, and so it's perfect.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. But hey, I mean, if you ever want to go to a horror con, matter of fact, I actually saw like on Lewis's social media like that. I actually saw like that. He actually has been. I actually saw that he actually has been doing some cons.
Yeah, I mean, man, that's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, he did one in Germany, I think. Um,
I believe so. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Oh, it is. Yeah, and one of the things that I always say, the moment somebody asks you for your autograph, that is one of the biggest compliments that you could ever get.
Yeah, and photos and stuff as well. Like I would never say
Yeah.
no to like a photo, like an autograph, like anything, because it's amazing. And yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, like yeah, like after when I did a few of my own roles, I actually had a few people asking me to sign things. I was like, "Thank you
Oh,
so
that's really fun.
much, thank you so much," and yeah, and so I think that about does her. I definitely really do want to appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Oh man, thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you, dude. And yeah, for all the viewers or listeners, Yeah, it's really been a pleasure. And if you want to see any more of my work, if you go on Instagram, _the_hoy_. Maybe Eric can put it in the description.
That I will. And it's really funny you said that. It's almost like as if you read my mind. I actually was about to say that.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so what I usually will like will end this with, I will usually will have my guests give advice to anybody pursuing the world of entertainment.
Oh, wow. Okay, pleasure. I would say you can't aim high enough. So aim as high as you physically can. Nothing's impossible. In terms of like specific advice, I say it's going to be very hard, but it'll be worth it. And or just always pursue the truth and the honesty and the authenticity of a character. And if you have those things at the forefront of your mind when you're getting ready for an audition, or if you're fortunate enough, you're getting ready for a role, you can't go wrong. If you just really chase the authenticity and the truth, yeah, you'll do great.
Oh yeah, and I mean, ultimately, no one's gonna believe in you until you believe in yourself.
Absolutely. And I would also say that, like, I think one of the most daunting aspects for like a new actor is like an audition panel. But I can't think of anyone else that would want you to succeed as much as an audition panel do, because they want you to walk in the door and be the best thing ever. And they go, yeah, we're taking him or we're taking her. So they're really supportive. And yeah, don't get inside your own head. Just stay present in the moment. Obey spontaneous impulses. They can be tremendously creative, and have fun.
Yeah, and also one of the nice things is that nowadays with the advent of like the internet, it actually has made doing self tapes and auditions. It actually has made it a lot easier.
Honestly, yeah, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. And to condense everything that I've just said, I would say 3 words: trust your instincts.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I certainly want to thank you so much, and I definitely will be really excited to see this movie.
Oh man, I'm excited for you to see it. And yeah, viewers, don't miss out. It's going to be great.
Check it out. All right. You all have a fantastic day.